good, everybody? This is your boy Ced Banner, and this is my review of Hereditary. So Hereditary is one of those films that was made independently, and it premiered at the Sundance Film Festival back at the beginning of the year. Got rave reviews. The film goers and the critics there absolutely loved it and praised it. So it was rewarded with a major release for the summer movie season this June. Anyone who knows me, and if you've watched any of my previous reviews for horror flicks, there aren't many of them, I always talk about how what scares me and what disturbs me in film is usually different from what seems to be the majority of film goers and horror fans. I wouldn't call myself a horror fan because as much as I do love a good scary movie, I don't feel like there are many of them. And the ones that do exist, it seems like almost everyone else hates, namely the Paranormal Activity films, the original Blair Witch, The Descent, which I think was the last time I was even afraid in the theater. Yeah, so this thing that came about probably about a decade ago, these films with all these creepy little girls and demons and ghosts and, you know, the Conjuring movies and all that seem to be scaring the crap out of everybody, they just annoyed me for the most part because they're so predictable. They mostly felt like copycat films to me and just felt pointless in the end. So I went to see Hereditary with some sense of hope because the reviews were so good, but, and I say this a lot too, when certain types of films, superhero films, especially horror films, get rave reviews from the professional critics, they're usually trash. So I was hoping this was going to be an instance where the professionals proved me wrong. So did they? Well, the highlight of this film is the star, leading actress Toni Collette, who is a veteran, has a lot of great roles, and mostly independent films. She does an awesome job playing a mother in this seemingly normal small town family that suddenly goes down this spiral of tragedy and sadness. Yeah, and she is the mother. She does an awesome job. She kills the performance. For me, that's what kind of got me through the movie and carried me through it, just watching her acting. The supporting cast does a good job as well. Her husband is played by Gabriel Byrne, who is another veteran. He does a great job. Some lesser knowns who I don't even know the names of, they did okay. But that was pretty much it as far as acting goes. The plot. Alright, so here's the thing. This is, like I said, it's an independent horror film that debuted at Sundance. So if you keep up with film, that should let you know off top that this is more of an art house type film. It's not your slasher or jump out and scare you type film. So that's cool. I expected that. But the plot, I feel like, tries so hard to redirect you that instead it unintentionally just keeps you so lost that it's hard to stay engaged. Now, I've talked to a lot of people who said it kept them on the edge of their seats, so that may be the case for you, but if you're like me and you're usually expecting the expected with these movies, it really just feels like a long, dragged out way of getting to what we already know is coming. First-time director Ari Aster, I believe is how you pronounce her name, does a great job here, especially this being her first outing as a director. Cinematography was on point. There were a lot of cool sequences and camera tricks that were used that I really appreciated and enjoyed. Yeah, that's about it. But as far as pros, what it comes down to, this film is just another one of what we've already gotten 1,000 of. It's just in more pretty packaging, so to speak. It's and I've seen a lot of people trying to make it deeper than it is. Oh, well, it's an art house type movie, so it kind of, has symbolism. Yeah, that's all cool and well, but at the end of the day, you need to scare me. There are a few scenes that are somewhat disturbing and creepy, but, nothing any scarier than you'll see on a show on Netflix or something. I mean, there's just nothing that made this film stand out, and there were probably 3 or 4 scenes that just felt like more of the same to me. And yeah, I believe that's all I'm going to say about it. It's really not even worth trying to dig deeper into. If you are a fan of horror and you just enjoy watching them, it may be worth your time to go see it. It may actually scare you if the Conjuring movies and, Annabelle's, those type flicks bothered you, then this may scare you as well. It just didn't do it for me. So my rating for Hereditary is pretty packaged trash. Return to sender. I'll never watch it again. It was overhyped, and it just further killed my faith in us getting some good horror films in this generation. Hopefully it'll happen eventually, but it just feels like all the talent in Hollywood, all the writers and people who grew up when I grew up and want to evolve the genres, it seems like we should be getting much better quality than we're getting, but instead what I feel like we're getting are a bunch of people who are trying too hard to be artsy, and they're taking that and trying to recapture or recreate the feels and the environments that we experienced and the feelings that we experienced in some of the older classic horror films. And I see the effort, but it's just not happening. So yeah, cut it out. That's all I got. That's all the time I'm going to spend on that flick. So until my next review, hey.